Hello guys, we're back with another YouTube video for another dungeon detail guide. This time I'm going to be showing you a Motherlode. This is one of the easier dungeons for the most part, at least on Tyrannical Weeks. We're going to get right into it. I got told a little bit last time my video was a little long. On the last one, I don't want it to be that long on this one, so we're going to try and go a little faster here. So we're starting off, same thing as I told you in the Atoll video with Infested. There's multiple ways you can CC them or you can just focus them down. We do multiple things. It depends on the pack. On this particular pack is only a 3-pack. We just burned it down. And we didn't actually kill the infested right away. It infested another target, so then we got to deal with more ads. It always depends on the pack that you want to see, that whether or not you CC or not. The mech jockeys in Motherlode, if you don't stun them right away, they will get into the peacekeepers, and you don't want that because the peacekeepers have a lot more health, and then you still got to kill the mech jockey even after you kill the peacekeeper. So when you get upon a mech jockey pack, you always want to immediately stun them as soon as they start running for the peacekeeper. It will interrupt them, and they will not get into the peacekeeper afterwards. So there are so many routes that you can go through Motherlode for percentage wise, especially on like a teaming week like we had last week. That percentage was kind of crazy. So, but the route that we do in this video is a little different than I normally do, and it's mainly because we don't have a B-res. The B-res, like a Soulstone, a Druid B-res, multiple things like that, what it allows you to do is you can actually death run the very last room. And what I mean by that is as soon as you kill the third boss, Rixa Flux Flame, you can actually just have the tank mount up and have everybody else mount up, and you run directly from the third boss all the way to the platform of the fourth boss, and you go in and right into the right corner. You all die. Make sure you get the B-res off. If you have a Soulstone, that works best, because then you don't have to worry about getting it off while you've possibly got mobs on you. And then the person who you Soulstone can get up and res. Obviously it needs to be a class that can res. They get up, they res, and easy peasy, you've cleared all that trash. Now obviously what that means is that you have to have a 100% before you kill the third boss, because you're not going to kill any of that trash afterwards, so you will not be able to get any more percent. So you want to be able to get 100% before the third boss, and then death run to the last boss saves you a lot of time, because you don't have to deal with the crawler bombs, any of that. So that is the best way I've seen to do it. If you do not have a B-res available or a Soulstone, any way to res, like I'll be honest, I don't actually know if the crap, I'm trying to figure out what they're called again. I've forgotten what they're called. I feel really bad. You used to be able to drop like a totem, a pillar, and it would res you. I cannot remember for the life of me what they're called. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, though. It was used for raid wipes and Legion. I'm not actually sure they still work. I haven't seen anybody dropping them, so they may not work. Either way, you want to have a B-res. So enough on that. As we're going through the routes here, you can just watch my route here. I tried to avoid as many infested packs as possible in here. There's so much trash in Motherlode that you can avoid infested packs for the most part, almost 90% of them. You don't have to kill them. Now if you're going for extra percentage, you are going to have to kill a few infested packs. The first part here up to the first boss, pretty standard route. It's not too difficult. These hired assassins, I will say that you want to interrupt their toxic blades like that I just did right there, because they do this haul of flèches that this guy's about to do, and you can stun that, but if you do not and they have the toxic blades buff, it's going to start throwing poison stacks all up on your entire group, and it will stack up to like 10 poison stacks, and it's very, very rough for the healer to keep up with, because it's not only they're getting the AoE damage from the fletch, but they're also getting the poison damage on top of that, and it just continuously stacks and it will wipe your group. So toxic blades is a very much priority. There are packs in here like this one right here with the mech jockey where you won't even pull, or he won't even go to a peacekeeper and try to get into the mech. He'll just stand here basically and let you kill him. You just got to know which ones that the packs that do it. As you can see if you watch just back through the video, this route, which ones will, which ones won't. If anything, it's always best just to have a stun ready for that mech jockey, and you won't have to worry about him going to a peacekeeper. This week that I'm doing this video, we actually two-chested this dungeon. The fixes are Tyrannical, Raging, Necrotic, and Infested. Pretty easy week, to be honest. A heck of a lot better than last week's fixes of Fortified and whatnot. It seems like in Legion, or excuse me, in BFA, the Tyrannical weeks are going to be the push weeks, and Fortified weeks are going to be the much tougher weeks, which is the complete opposite of Legion. It is what it is. I actually kind of think it's a nice change. The difficulty with BFA dungeons and Mythic Plus has definitely increased, I will say, from Legion. There's a lot more challenges with just the way the dungeons are designed. There's a lot more threatening trash mobs and whatnot. Now this boss here, the coin operated crowd puller, pretty easy boss. He doesn't have many abilities. He has a static pulse here, which basically is just a knockback and a little bit of an AoE damage. Doesn't hit real hard. He does throw out the foot bombs here. Basically, you can go up against one of those foot bombs and it'll show you a little arrow as you move in and around it, and you can just click it and you just shoot it into the boss. If you don't shoot it into the boss, it will blow up, because it has a little timer on it above it that you can see, and if it blows up, it will put a dot that actually ticks pretty hard on the entire group AoE damage. So you don't ever want to let them blow up. You always want to make sure you're ranged and whatnot, or going out there hitting those bombs and just knocking them right into the boss. He'll drop these little coin piles, as you can see right over here. Those, he'll pick them up if you don't move him away from him. If you have DBM, it basically tells you when he's dropping them, and you just move him away and he won't be able to pick them up and give himself a buff. So pretty simple. Other than that, the only other ability he does is what's called a Shocking Claw. It's a frontal AoE that if you get hit by it will stun you and do a lot of damage. As you can see, it's about to come up here in about 2 seconds here, and he'll face any random direction he chooses. So you not necessarily have to worry about getting hit if he's not facing you, but if he does turn around and face you, you need to move from his frontal AoE. Right there, he's finally doing it. As you can see, the mage was there and he did get hit. It's a pretty 45-degree angle there. You need to get away from it. It hurts, very much hurts. So other than that, this boss is a joke. It's really one of the easiest bosses in here. Now you get up to these trash packs here, these little goblins, and I'm gonna tell you, they suck. They throw down these bombs, and as you'll see here in just a second, there, right there, that little circle, you got to get out of it. It's a lot of kiting. A lot of moving around with these mobs, and they're constantly throwing rocks at you, which hit pretty hard as the tank. And with necrotic stacks as well, if you get hit by one of these bombs, you're basically a one-shot, so you don't want to be in them, and that's not even fortified. So as you can see, there's an infested pack off to the right there behind us that I did not pull because he didn't need to. Normally I'll actually go up to the right there and pull all the way up to that hill, but as it was infested, I was like, well, we'll just skip it, go to the left. Like I said, there's so many routes that you could do with Motherlode. It's kind of crazy. I don't know, is there, yeah, I think actually I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit here, so we can make this video a little bit faster. So bear with me, guys. Yeah, so we got it at 1.5 speed here. The Earth Shapers, they do put on an Earth Shield. If you can interrupt it, you want to interrupt it. The Rock Lances, those are priority to interrupt. They hit the tank and whoever has aggro, and they hit very hard. So as you can see, both of our DPS there, they got hit by the bomb because they stood in it, and yeah, it killed them. So you don't want to stand in that. But other than that, yeah, you just interrupt those rock lances and interrupt the earth shields if you can. Stuns are great, AoE stuns, and burn them down. These packs can be easy if done properly, or they can be honestly hell if they're not. So They can hit very hard, and these sappers will do a final blast, where if you get hit by that, if you're close enough to them, they will blow up and wreck you. So now I pulled this pack here just for percentage, so that's the only reason I pulled it. And you always got to keep an eye on that percentage. And some of these packs, like this, and especially in this room, are easier to pull and kill to give you that extra percentage than in some of the later rooms. So you definitely want to have an idea of what packs you want to pull. So with like Necrotic here, as you can see, there's multiple ways to drop your stacks with Necrotic. You can Ring of Peace and run away and kite. If you have slows with like a Frost Mage, you can run away, kite, drop your stacks. You can do stuns. If you're a Paladin, you can do Spell Warding. You can use the talent Final Stand to Bubble Taunt with your Divine Shield, and that will drop your stacks. If you're a Night Elf, you can Shadow Meld your stacks, and they will drop. Death Knights have AMS that they can use that will drop their stacks. Other than that, just running away and kiting is sometimes the best way to do it. You can use like a Sky Step potion or a Lightfoot potion and run away from them really quickly while they're in a stun or they're slowed, and that should give you enough time to run away and drop those stacks. You just always want to keep an eye on those stacks, and like you can see, I'm at 25. I'm starting to get away here, so I pop Spell Warding, and that will allow me to drop my stacks. Good to go. Continuing on, you know. So you always just got to be aware of those stacks, and this week especially is Raging, so they get to 30% and they hurt. Now I will say Hunters and Druids and whatnot, they can actually remove the Raging buff. A lot of people don't know that, but when the mob gets the buff, they can, like a Druid can soothe the mob and it'll actually take away the Raging debuff. It can become a non-issue. But if you don't have a class like that can do that, like we did not in this particular comp, then you have to deal with it. And the best way for the tank to deal with it is to literally run away or stun them. Some of these mobs can absolutely one-shot you. I think I do actually have a death in here where I die from the Raging, where the group AoE'd them all down at the same time, and there was 4 mobs that went Raging at once, and I went from 100 to 0 in a split second. It just one-shot me, basically. It was 4 shots in one, but I call it a one-shot because I just died. So you always want to be aware of that Raging. This boss is pretty easy. You start off, you've got these Earth Shapers. They do put a bleed, as you can see over here on the left, that are on my warrior and my paladin right here, that will stack and do ever increasing damage if you get hit by it. So idea is to stun, kite, root them, and then obviously eventually kill them. So you want to do that. The boss itself is he's pretty easy. The only thing you really have to worry about is his Tectonic Smash. It's a frontal AoE stun that you don't want to get hit by, so the tank always needs to face that away. As you can see I'm doing here, there's the smash, and you can run out of it. Throughout the fight, he will call more Earth Ragers. You want to get those as soon as they spawn, root them, stun them, kill them, and move on to the rest of the fight. Other than that, he does one more ability called Resonant Pulse, which when he casts that, any ads that are alive will start doing an AoE earthquake, essentially. You can stun the ads during that portion if you need to. Otherwise, you can just heal through it, or you can actually get out of range of the AoE. So, moving on, this is probably, honestly, the most dangerous room for Motherlode in the entire dungeon. The route that I take here is probably, in my opinion, the safest route, as you'll be able to see, because these mobs in here, they do ridiculous damage. There's a lot of threatening abilities on these mobs in here. The assistants, they will do a transmutation that you want to interrupt. The alchemists, they do a caustic, I can't actually remember all of what it's called. I might be able to see it on this portion here. It's like caustic something. Anyways, it puts a dot on the tank that actually can be dispelled. They do a blowtorch, and especially with Raging, as you'll see right here, I actually die here because it's a double Raging blowtorch. Oh, I didn't die. I lay on hands. But yeah, The weapons testers, they'll do a knockback with force cannon, and they also do a silence with echo blade. The echo blade silence is a frontal cone of whichever way it's facing. You cannot get out of it really as the tank. You can move and not let it hit the group so it doesn't silence your healer, but you will get silenced, and it hits pretty good and hard too. So but these alchemists, the caustic compound, that's what it's called, that puts a dot on the tank, and it can be dispelled. They do a transmute where if they get that off, they'll turn into this little grotesque that'll put dots on you. Those are pretty dangerous as well, so you don't want to have that happen. These masterminds, obviously, if you've ever done Motherlode, you know how much they hurt the tank. The energy lash is pure magic damage. So if you're like a DK, you can actually AMS it. Most of these abilities are magic damage. So the idea under all these mobs is interrupt and stun as much as you can. These weapon testers are probably some of the more dangerous mobs because of the knockbacks they do and the silence. So you can see I got silence there that can be dispelled. There's the force cannons, as you can see, it knocked back our party. You need to position yourself appropriately so you're not going to get knocked back into another group. That is what makes this room probably the most dangerous. Besides the mobs hitting like trucks and having a lot of dangerous abilities, the weapons testers will knock you back, and I have seen people get knocked back into other groups, and then you pull extra, and then it's probably a wipe depending on your group. Other than that, you just need to priority down mobs and interrupt everything, stun everything, and you'll be able to get through it. Position yourself appropriately and take the route I just did, which is pretty much hug the left all the way through this room. Now, as you can see, like I said, we didn't have a B-res or soulstone, so I chose to not go ahead and clear more trash in that room because we have to clear up here ahead anyways, so there's no point to get to 100%. But if you are going to do the B-res and death run strat, you want to have 100% by this point right here. Then you kill the boss, and from here you would mount up and run all the way to the 4th boss platform, and then res and kill the boss, and you're done with the dungeon. This boss here is actually, in my personal opinion, is the hardest boss in here. Only because he hits very, very hard. He puts down these little puddles, and if you stand in them, they do a multi-ticking damage that just hits like a truck. The propellant blast that he does right there will actually move it off the platform, so if your DPS or healer actually face those puddles, when he does the propellant blast, it'll actually shove it off the platform to give you more room, which is the idea. He does put a dot on the tank that hits really, really hard. So when that dot is on the tank, you want to make sure you pop a defensive and make sure your healer is doing crazy amount of heals on you, because it will kill you. As you can see there, I actually positioned myself so I could make sure that the propellant blast, if it targeted me, would then push that stuff away. So that's the idea, just always keep him away from the puddles, and that's it. You usually want to hero this boss, to be honest with you. We didn't. I didn't really have control of the hero, so you do usually want to hero that boss, though. Now, if you're going to go up through this route because you don't have a B-res, usually I go right up through the middle and to the right, as you'll see in here. And it's probably the safest way to go. These war machines, their charge shot will do an AoE in front of them and hit anybody in front of them, so you want to face that away from the group. It hits really hard, so he also deploys crawler mines that you need to stun and kill. These ordnance specialists, they will do an artillery blast that you can interrupt. The sky scorchers, they are pretty much just nightmares as far as they'll do jump backs like he just did, and if you don't position yourselves right, they can actually jump themselves into another group and pull more mobs. So you kind of want to be careful of how they do the jumps and where you think they might do the jumps, and that just comes from experience. So the ordnance specialists, you just interrupt their artillery blasts, are pretty easy. Now these technicians, they will actually, if they're next to a war machine, they'll actually do an ability called repair that you can interrupt or stun, and you want to do that. So Other than that, you just keep going up through here. Make sure that the tank's going ahead for the mines, like I just did right there. And you can, like I said, stun, root, kill those crawler mines. You cannot let them blow up on the tank. Now, if you do stun and kill them before they blow up on a person, they actually do give you 0.2% for percentage. So be aware of that if you need a little bit of extra percentage. Now, if they do blow up, though, and you don't stun them and kill them before they blow up, they will not give you percentage. So be aware of that. Like I said, we're just going up here. We went up through the middle at the beginning, and then we went to the right, and it's pretty much the easiest route if you've got to clear this room. Like I said, the best way to do this is you skip all of this and just do a death run. All right, we got to clear this last pack, and you cannot stealth this pack. I know a lot of people would want to shroud this pack because it's probably the hardest pack in this room, but you can't because they can see you through stealth. So you've just got to basically kill this pack. It sucks. This is a harder pack, but this is why we death run this place anyways. But, you know, as you can see, I died. The pack's very hard. We killed it. So now I'm going to get a res. As you can see, I got hit really, really hard there. Waiting on the res. Got the res. Alright, now we're going to go for the last boss. Now this boss here can be hard and difficult if you don't know the abilities. If you know the abilities and know what to watch out for, this boss is a joke. So the first thing he does is he summons these Boombas. As you can see, those two little things there that go up to the sides and fly up there. I am watching for where they are, and they do that little circle thing that's all over the ground. And they do it in a certain path. So if you watch where they are and which way they're facing, they'll do the circles right in front of them. And if you're not in front of them, then you won't have to worry about getting hit by them. Now, there are little spaces throughout where you can actually stand in the middle of it and still not get hit. But you have to be, you know, on point to get into those little spaces in between the little circles. The other ability he does is Gatling Gun, which he's about to do here. He spins in a circle and shoots the gun. You just don't want to be facing him, so you just run around him. The other ability he does is Homing Missile, which is right there. You basically just want to, whoever gets it, run out of the group so it doesn't put the dot on the entire group. There's no way to avoid it, though. Whoever is targeted on will get hit. Doesn't matter how much you run or kite, they will get hit. It will continue chasing you until it blows up. So the idea is to just get away from the group so it doesn't put the dot on the whole group. Once you get him to 50%, he'll go up in the air, put a bubble on him, and summon 2 Sky Scorchers. You got to kill those, and he'll summon these 3 pillars. Then he'll target you with what's called a Drill Smash. You want to run that Drill Smash to the pillars, as you saw me do there. He'll then go down, smash the pillar, and get the shield off of him. Other than that, it's a rinse repeat until he's dead. Once he smashes so many pillars, his bubble will go away, and I have seen it be buggy though. Sometimes you have to smash all 3 pillars, sometimes you only have to smash 1 pillar, sometimes you have to only smash 2 pillars. It just depends. I don't know, it feels like it's buggy. Hopefully that'll get fixed where it's a certain amount. I have no idea. But other than that, once you get him down, you kill him, he'll jump out of his mech, and you kill him, and he dies, and that's the dungeon. Motherlode is pretty easy, so if you guys have any other questions, make sure you throw a comment down, or if you want to see me live, and you can ask your questions there. I stream at twitch.tv/pulseonline, and you can watch me there. I will always answer any questions, and I stream about every day, so I'm doing a lot of Mythic Plus. I'm actually trying to push to be one of the top prop paladins in the United States. I'm currently 20th in the US, and I am #1 on Stormrage, one of the bigger Alliance servers. I am #1 for all tanks and prop paladin. So I am currently 1100 Raider IO score. So I have a little bit of experience in these hierarchies, and if you guys would like to see any other particular dungeons next, hit me up in the comments below, or like I said, hit me up at my stream. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time with another video with another dungeon. Have a good one, guys.